guy's so dumb.
Well, hi everybody. Anthony Fantano here, internet's busiest music nerd. You know who it is, and it's time for another edition of Why Are My Teeth So Great? No, it's time for another edition of Let's Argue, where I go on the internet, I welcome your hot takes, your unpopular opinions, and your tough questions. I respond to the best ones in these video segments. You know what it is at this point. Let's go. Would you rather give up music or being a vegan? Whew, that is a hard question. That is a tough question. Not only because I love both things, but I'm also very much a staunch self-preservationist, and I feel like if I get rid of music, I'm not only kneecapping my mental well-being, my emotional well-being, but also my financial well-being. I obviously wouldn't be able to continue doing this job if I gave up music. But then there's being vegan, and that has directly to do with my health and my diet, which I feel like I'm also very much dependent on that. Although thinking about it, I do think that there is a bit of a loophole in your tweet, because veganism can encompass a whole bunch of different things, because the exploitation of animals isn't just simply based on our consuming of their flesh and their byproducts. I could be, let's say, not a vegan if I decided to buy a pair of leather pants. Or hey, even give up my Ridge wallet and just buy a disgusting bulky leather wallet. Hit the link down below, 10% off, promo code MELON, Ridge wallet, yeah! So doing that would be less detrimental to my health, but still I could essentially give up veganism here by just simply, I don't know, eating one single slice of cheese once a month. Yeah, I mean, I can essentially give up being vegan by just going vegetarian. I mean, I would rather not, but still, even the line between those two things is pretty thin. I mean, there are plenty of vegetarians out there who eat vegan meals on the regular. It's not like to go from vegan to vegetarian, I'm required to eat like, you know, 3 dozen eggs every week. Fat Lip is a decent song. Yeah, I mean, I guess I'll admit that in retrospect, I can enjoy it to a degree with nostalgia goggles on, but I mean, as far as like pop punk blends with hip hop and jump the fuck up riffs, oh yeah! Yeah, it's not really my thing. I think it's kind of corny. I mostly disagree. Kids See Ghosts changed music forever. I'm not sure if entirely I agree with this. What are the records? What are the artists? What are the projects that you see taking direct inspiration from Kids See Ghosts? What exactly about music did it change? Look, I love Kids See Ghosts. Kids See Ghosts is great. Obviously, I gave it a 10 out of 10, but there are some other 10 out of 10 records, in my opinion, like To Be Kind, for example, that, yeah, I don't think that album changed music forever. It's just kind of a really amazing album, and that's it. Not everything that's great has to have, like, this incredible amount of influence on every artist that came after it. In fact, I would argue that it's kind of the exact opposite. Rarely are the most genius ideas in music so easy to copy, and usually it's the easiest to copy, it's the most accessible, and it's the most easy to understand ideas in music that are the ideas that are copied and the ones that tend to be the most influential. Having digital jukeboxes in practically every bar in the country charging 50 cents to $1 for the privilege of listening to one song in a crowded, noisy room is proof what people are truly willing to pay for music. I'm not sure if you're trying to say that's a good thing or a bad thing. Like, why would somebody pay to hear this song in this setting, or they're just paying 50 cents? I mean, of course, in some sense, people are still willing to pay for music. You're either going to pay for music at the record store, or you're going to pay for it via a monthly subscription fee to a subscription service, or you are going to pay for it with your time and your attention by sitting through an advertisement that was paid for by a multi-million-dollar company that is trying to get you to purchase or buy into its product. So look, music is still being paid for. You look at the bottom lines of the biggest record labels out there right now, and they're making billion-dollar profits. They're making more money than ever. They are seeing a boom in the age of streaming. So people are getting money. People are making money. It's just not coming directly from you paying for an album that you directly get a physical copy of these days. That dynamic has changed. The White Stripes sound better on shuffle. Yeah, I'm gonna have to hard disagree on this one. I'm gonna have to hard disagree because as somebody who was a fan of the White Stripes for quite a while, there are some records of theirs I don't really want mixing in with the rest of their discography. What do you mean shuffle? Like their entire catalog? Or maybe you just put it on shuffle for one single album? Maybe I could see what you're saying in that scenario, but I don't want any tracks from Elephant mixing in with the White Stripes' debut album. I do not want any tracks from White Blood Cells mixing in with Get Behind Me, Satan. That is not what I want. That is not my vibe. To me, those records have distinctly different sounds. I have some White Stripes right here. So ba-bam, ba-bam, ba-bam. You should be able to taunt in online Smash. Having someone teabag the stage is 10 times more frustrating. Yeah, teabagging is more annoying. And honestly, teabagging in video games is pretty well established at this point. I can't believe the programmers over at Smash Central like literally took away taunts in online mode thinking that, oh yeah, this will completely eliminate any ability for players to annoy or troll or bother each other as they're competing on the internet. That no way that'll happen now that taunts are gone. Not very bright, guys. Not very bright. Unknown Pleasures is bland and poorly paced, even if it's influential. Personally, I don't really see it as bland. I think the haunting atmosphere around Unknown Pleasures is sort of unique. Maybe my perception of that is contextual because, look, here's the thing. Maybe it doesn't seem so unique in the modern era because there's so much music out there that so blatantly rips off Unknown Pleasures, but at the time, nothing else sounded like that album. So if you have no other way of looking at this album because you've already been exposed to tons of records that just so obviously pull from it, I understand, but I don't entirely agree with the assessment that it's poorly paced either. Sure, you could maybe say that it's a little one-dimensional and that this very hollow, reverb-heavy aesthetic kind of carries throughout the entire record, and yeah, it's a little one note in that sense, I guess. But honestly, I still like all of the songs on the album. I think they flow together pretty well. I think they create a pretty cohesive experience, and yeah, I disagree. Great album. 9/11 has completely transformed country music from healthy independence and freedom into nationalistic propaganda. Many country artists and the music became obsessed with negative American Southern aspects, not embracing new cultures, glorifying the US, and makes the genre stale. I feel like you might be kind of mapping some of your attitudes about Southern culture in general over onto the genre of country music, because as annoying as it was to have a series of songs that were just like, hell yeah, America, and where were you on 9/11? Yes, tracks like that were kind of annoying, but their prevalence washed in and out with the tide of the 2000s. This was also a product of Americans becoming slowly disillusioned with the Iraq War, the war in Afghanistan, and the war on terror. And these days, while there may be some nationalistic country songs here and there, a majority of country tracks that I hear in 2019 and 2018 aren't necessarily about that. And not to insinuate that country music has become a super progressive genre or anything like that, though you certainly have voices out there like Jason Isbell and Sturgill Simpson. But look, all of these attitudes that you're talking about in Southern culture were already really, really bad. And I'm not sure if 9/11 really made them all that worse. We are talking about a section of the country right now that fought in the name of slavery, gave us the KKK, gave us Jim Crow, is basically the pushing cultural force behind Trump's wall, which states were requiring school segregation prior to Brown versus Board of Education. Oh yeah, that's right, it was these ones, the ones in red, oh yeah. So I guess the extent to which I disagree is that your tweet portrays 9/11 as impacting all of this stuff in a vacuum when it's really just maybe a little bit more kindling in a fire that was already kind of like raging. How would you judge ambient music to be bad? Can it be derivative or generic? I don't know if I could hear any ambient music and think, wow, this is really awful. You are right in assuming that reviewing or critiquing ambient music can be different than any other genre because it does seem to have this expressed purpose to be kind of inhabiting the background of your mind or the space that you're existing in. It's not meant to be analyzed or enjoyed in the same way that you would like a Madonna song. But there is a lot of ambient music and there is a lot of drone music that can be listened to both in the foreground and in the background of your mind. And I think that ambient music that tends to be able to inhabit both of those spaces is ambient music that tends to resonate with me the most. And just because something is ambient doesn't mean that you can't forge or embark upon a unique or an interesting sound. You know, for as Ambient 1 is, or as ambient as Stars of the Lid records are, you can't really deny that those records still have very unique sounds to them. You know, they have unique, creative, one-of-a-kind sound palettes. I think particular records and artists can certainly be judged on a lot of the same merits that you would judge any other piece of music. While I do agree that there are some vast conceptual differences between these styles of music, there are maybe more parallels and there's maybe more common ground than I think many of us assume. LaCroix is a drink from the gods, and anyone who doesn't like it is used to ample amounts of sugar typically found in carbonated drinks. While I'm not really a LaCroix boy, I will say that the standard American diet is pretty sad in that Americans don't really seem to know how to function as far as eating goes without ample amounts of sugar, fat, and salt. If you ever put yourself in a place where you completely cut yourself off of soda, of fast food, if you put yourself in a position, especially if you're getting around my age and you're not eating that stuff at all and you've taken a total break from it, and you come back to it, it seriously like messes you up and reminds you like how detrimental some of this stuff is. I can't even, you know, finish like a soda today. I can't even finish a soda. If you hand me a soda, I might take a few sips or something, but it's been a long time since I've had a corn syrup drink. It's been a long time since I've had like even a full soda that's just like, you know, nothing but cane sugar in it too. And when I drink that stuff now, I mean, it tastes great, it tastes good, but there's only like a couple of gulps that maybe I can take before my stomach's like, this is too much sugar. So again, could have something to do with just me avoiding all of that stuff. Could also have something to do with me just getting older, because there are a lot of people my age who I know sort of avoid soda at this point. So yeah, I don't know. I think I'm gonna leave it at that. That has been this latest episode of Let's Argue. Thank you very much for watching. You're the best. Anthony Fantano, Let's Argue. Over here next to my head is another Let's Argue you can check out. Best teeth forever.